When Harley Quinn's explosive breakup with the Joker puts a big-ass target on her back, Harley faces the wrath of crime boss Black Mask and his right-hand man, Victor Zsasz, and basically every other criminal in Gotham City. While on the run and unprotected, things even out for Harley when she becomes unexpected allies with Black Canary, Huntress, and Renee Montoya. DC has actually been on quite a home run recently. While the DCEU, or Worlds of DC, or whatever this thing is called, while it got up to a pretty shaky start, their recent efforts, well, most of them anyway, have actually been really, really good. I loved Wonder Woman, Aquaman was great, and so was Shazam. Even the DC movies set outside of their shared universe had gotten off to a phenomenal start with the release of Joker, which as you may know is my favourite movie of 2019. And now their latest movie, Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, has been released. I have to admit, while I have enjoyed the recent lot of DC films, I had basically no excitement for Birds of Prey. Yeah, I think it's a great idea to have a movie centered around Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, not only because she was easily the best part of Suicide Squad, but also because she was the most universally praised thing about that movie, so it only makes sense that she now basically has a movie to herself. Suicide Squad wasn't received all that well. Yeah, that's putting it lightly. So Birds of Prey is DC and Warner Bros.' second attempt to do what that film tried to do and basically take a group of people who don't really have much of a moral compass and put them in a team and have them go up against someone who is actually worse than them. And that's really what had me worried, because it's basically Suicide Squad 2.0, and I was just worried that Warner Bros. Were going to make the same mistake that they made with Suicide Squad. Margot Robbie is once again excellent as Harley Quinn. Her performance in Suicide Squad is great, but I would say she tops it in this film. I literally cannot imagine anyone else playing this character. Just like when people say Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool or Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn. She captures the essence of the character perfectly by being suitably psychotic and unhinged in all the right ways. There is almost never a dull moment in this movie, mainly because of how much Robbie steals the show. If Harley Quinn herself wasn't as good as she is in this movie, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much as I actually did. Her performance is great. She gets a lot of cute moments and she gets to kill people instead of weird putty things. It was great to see that they did not shy away from Harley Quinn being the queen of murderous brutality. I mean, dang, she really messes some guys up in this movie, and it was honestly refreshing to see a movie in this universe that just doesn't hold back in terms of the violence. And the action is much more exciting because of that. The action sequences are also a place where this movie really shines. Most of the action is shot in these beautiful wide shots where you can just see everything from the amazing fight choreography to the equally impressive stunt work. The stunt team for this movie really put their all into it, and the hand-to-hand combat scenes were honestly some of my favorite parts of the movie. Every fight scene incorporates new elements that the movie can have fun with, like Harley's bat and mallet for example, and even fracking roller skates. Birds of Prey is also a really colourful movie. The cinematography, the lighting, and even the colour palette are really expressive. Every scene just bursts out of the screen with eccentric costume design, effects, and art direction. There's an awesome sequence set in a police station where Harley is shooting a bunch of cops, but she's using dummy rounds which are literally filled with confetti and red and blue bursts of smoke. Even Gotham City, a location which is typically depicted in film as a dark and gloomy location, is so wonderfully vibrant and colourful. The fact that this is directed Cathy Yan's first big budget production just makes it even more impressive considering how wonderful this movie looks. Birds of Prey is a very chaotic movie, and you could make the argument that that's because the movie is told almost entirely from Harley's perspective. The movie does literally jump from one set of events to the other like a pinball machine, like how Pulp Fiction jumps around between different points in time in order to tell individual stories. On one hand, it's cool to see the chaotic nature of Harley's head reflected in the film's structure and pacing, as it can actually be really engaging, but on the other hand, it doesn't work as well as it could. There are scenes that are just right on their own, and I understand why and how they are emotionally significant. However, the problem is when the movie decides to backtrack to those scenes. Sometimes there are things that made those scenes more significant, such as a very compelling side plot involving Black Canary. That was great because it further developed the character beyond what we'd seen of her up to that point, but then there were other scenes that the movie goes back to that just didn't have any other significance beyond what we'd seen of them the first time, which made those scenes boring and badly paced the second time round, and I just didn't get more out of them. While I do like most of the characters in Birds of Prey, I gotta say, this movie should not have been called Birds of Prey. This movie is without a doubt a Harley Quinn story with the Birds of Prey in it. I mean, for crying out loud, the actual Birds of Prey team-up doesn't even happen until very near the end of the movie. Most of the movie is centered around Harley causing problems, but like I said, I like most of these characters. I really enjoyed Journey Smollett-Bell as Black Canary. She kicked a lot of ass and had what I think was the most interesting arc in the film outside of Harley's arc. Mary Elizabeth Winstead was excellent as Huntress, and her character was really interesting, but also surprisingly funny. I also like Rosie Perez as Renee Montoya and Ella J. Basco. I also love that this movie has feminist energy without coming across as obnoxious and pretentious. It treats its female characters like they are actual people with actual problems. It's a movie about a girl who got dumped, she's really sad about it, and she's trying to move past that to become her own person without having to rely on anyone. And you know what? That's easily the most engaging part of the movie. Even though I'm a guy, I can actually feel something for what she's going through. Unfortunately, some characters are developed better than others, and that is due to this movie's strange approach to characterization. A lot of the characterization of the movie outside of Harley herself, Black Canary, and the main villain is basically Harley telling us about these characters through narration. And I really don't like it when a movie literally has a character explain who the other characters in the movie are in order to develop them. It just feels like such a lazy way of developing these characters, and it also means that you don't really get to know the characters as people. You just know them based on what Harley has said about them. I mean, Cassandra Cain, who is literally the center of this plot, gets basically nothing aside from one small scene. I just didn't even know anything about her, which surprises me because a lot of the movie revolves around her. I could not get enough of Ewan McGregor as Black Mask. He is without a doubt my favorite part of this movie behind Harley. He's classy, hilarious, despicable, and menacing as all hell. He has a terrifying scene in the nightclub that just gave me chills and made me feel so uncomfortable. But on the flip side of that, he's also freaking hilarious. I mean, there are times where the guy had me dying of laughter, which actually adds a great sense of unpredictability to the character. This movie also does right what Suicide Squad did wrong. There are times where the movie can be really dark and even gritty, but there are also times where the film can be really lighthearted and jovial. Thankfully, the movie manages to strike a balance between both of these differing tones, which means the movie never feels tonally inconsistent in the slightest. The comedy, whether it's lighthearted or dark, is hilarious for the most part, and is integrated really well into the action sequences, character interactions, although surprisingly, the comedy was at its best when it was integrated into the really dark scenes. It was such a strange feeling because what was happening on screen was so skin-crawlingly dark and twisted, and yet I was laughing so much, and it wasn't even unintentionally funny? Am I going nuts? I had a blast with Birds of Prey. No, it's not the greatest DC movie ever made. The structure and pacing could be better, and the characters, with a few exceptions, could have used a little more work, but I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't enjoy this movie. It's got a dark edge, but it's cute, colorful, and charming just like Harley Quinn herself. The movie feels like the character, and that's actually really cool. But Warner Bros., DC, my dudes, guys, chappies, people, seriously, next time you want to make a Harley Quinn movie, just call it what it is. A Harley Quinn movie. She can carry her own movie clearly. You don't have to mismarket it as a Birds of Prey movie and then give it the longest title imaginable. Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn? That's the longest movie title I've ever heard. And we live in a world where these two movies exist. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to rate this movie now, aren't I? Birds of Prey gets a 7.9 out of 10. So that was my review of Birds of Prey. Thank you so much as always for watching, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video. Before I go though, I would just like to ask you guys, what did you think of Birds of Prey? Did you think it was good? Did you think it was bad? Did you think it was somewhere in the middle? Please leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and I will indeed see you guys in the next one. Until next time, take care.